You bet it does. Welcome into Thursday's edition of The Big Show on your total sports station, KTGR. Andy Humphrey and Brendan Schaefer here as we get you set for this weekend with over-unders for Chiefs-Chargers. Also for starting tonight, maybe a fantasy football playoff matchup, Brendan, that you might be part of.
Yeah, there's this is when it begins, week 15 for many folks. So maybe the most important play, fade, eliminate we've had all year.
So we'll try to get you started on the right foot with that, with Thursday night's action. We'll also have John Price of Sports Information Traders. He'll try to help you out. Maybe you haven't quite waded into the sports betting yet. If not, he will give you a great chance to start out as he joins us at 5:45 with a thing he's got going on. So be sure to tune in at 5:45 with John Price for Sports Information Traders. And in a little bit, Brendan, I mean, look, it seems like it'd be conceivable that Kirby Moore could be a head coaching candidate for Washington State. We don't know whether he was in Pullman yesterday or not. But if, in fact, Mizzou is going through an OC change, how impactful do you think it would be to actually improving Mizzou's offense? Is that the biggest problem, or is there something else that needs to be fixed instead that could make a bigger impact, essentially, for Mizzou being a better offense next year, which clearly that's what held them back in 2025. We'll talk about that and a lot more here on the show. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. You can also tweet us at KTGR Big Show. See us live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. Also on Facebook, facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
Now, the Big Show's Big Deal.
Hoops tonight. Mizzou men's basketball. Well, let's hope that they don't make it 3 losses in a row. This would be a bad one to take. But they'll get Alabama State tonight at Mizzou Arena with a 7 o'clock tip-off. Tigers obviously coming off of a tough week, losses to Notre Dame and to Kansas. But we'll see if they get back in the win column tonight as they take on Alabama State. Coverage begins at 6:30 right here on KTGR. Mizzou women's basketball last night, they were in most of the game against Illinois on Wednesday night, but just fell short by 8 points, 70-62 the final score. Grace Slaughter had a double-double, 19 points and 10 rebounds, but Mizzou's 5-game win streak is snapped, and they'll try to get back in the win column themselves as they visit Brendan's SLU Billikens on Sunday afternoon. That's the Big Show's Big Deal on this 11th day of December 2025. You ready for that big-time matchup between Mizzou and SLU in basketball, Brendan?
That's right. It's obviously beneficial to play the game, so that's what they're doing, And trying to tell everybody.
In women's basketball, yes, I do think it makes some sense. On the men's basketball side, I don't know, different levels of what would be more worth it for one side versus the other. Just saying. Although there have been some issues about scheduling or complaints about scheduling in recent memory that I can recall for Dennis Gates' squad.
Yeah. So the scheduling sucks. Play SLU. That might help. Who knows?
Only a little bit, but I would
might
like
get
to
you
see better opponents.
Playing a home and home might get you out of having to pay for the buy games that apparently we don't have enough money to pay for. But then again, we're having a million of them against the bottom of the barrel of competition. So riddle me that. I can't figure it out.
Well,
that's what we've been told.
Something we have to figure out, I suppose. In the meantime, let's talk some Mizzou football. And look, we don't know how serious it might be, if it's serious at all. Interest between Washington State and Kirby Moore. We're not sure what their actual candidate list is, and if Kirby Moore is on it. We don't know if he was in Pullman yesterday. It was reported that he was. It was also reported that he wasn't. So look, all up in the air. I think it's conceivable that he could be getting the call, though, because he's from the area, and again, I'm sure wants to be a head coach someday, and maybe this is a chance for him to be that, if in fact there's been communication between the two. But obviously Mizzou fans are looking at it as an opportunity themselves. Some Mizzou fans, I should clarify, oh, okay, go ahead and take that job. We wanted a new offensive coordinator anyway. So with that, I mean, he's not gone. He's still Mizzou's OC. If he's not Mizzou's OC next year and someone else is, do you think that solves the issue? Essentially.
I mean, that would be a difficult question to answer definitively without knowing who the next guy is, who the quarterback is, who the backup quarterback is. Like, I think there's a lot of variables in play with this, and I don't know that just with one change, maybe that is the answer. Maybe the play calling was the problem, and you put somebody else in there, and suddenly things look better. But maybe it's the personnel. Maybe the quarterback was not executing the offense effectively, and so they had to, or they felt they had to make changes to diminish the creativity of the play calling just to try to avoid catastrophic mistakes. Maybe that was in play. Maybe there's a fourth variable of, hey, Eli Drinkwitz is still going to be the head coach. It's really still his offense and his offensive philosophy at the end of the day. And so do there need to be internal tweaks where maybe you don't change the coordinator, but you overhaul some of the aspects of what that coordinator is being asked to do to try to get to a more desirable result. So I don't know that in a vacuum, if you just say, hey, Kirby Moore is going to be moving on and they're going to hire somebody else, until I know more about what, who they're bringing in this theoretical, it would be hard to say definitively that fixes the problem by itself.
It's, to me, laid out in how Mizzou's offense has gotten its yards recently, or over the last few years or so, since Kirby Moore has been the guy. First year he's here, 2023, Mizzou's offense looks pretty darn good. They have Cody Schrader breaking the single season rushing record. They've got a good changeup with him, and I believe it was still Nate Pete, but Schrader was taking the bulk of the carries. He wasn't even Pete was not getting Jamal Roberts' workload, if that makes sense. But run game was great. Pass game was also very good, 38th in the country to be exact, at 262 yards per game. The next year they take a slide, and it's with basically the same guys out there in the passing game, pretty much the same wide receiver room, same quarterback, obviously. Change up on the offensive line, but I don't know if you got all that much worse from one year to the next. And they go all the way down to 71st. They shave down about 30 yards per game in their pass game. And then this year, even further slide. They're down to 103 this year in the nation in passing offense. They average just over 195 yards per game. So the main change that I see is quarterback, obviously, with that. And I think it mostly, and wide receivers too, like Luther Burden gone, Theo Weiss gone, Mookie Cooper gone. Got to essentially elevate some guys. You bring in a transfer. I just think it was more tied to that than anything else, what the pass game was going through. And obviously the run game improved from last year to this year.
Yeah.
And so
substantially so.
And
I mean, I don't know what the numbers say, but they are they were incredible on the ground this year.
And look, they were banged up. Like Mizzou's main guy that they had last year was banged up. Nate Noel didn't play most of the season, so they
wanted Noel to be like the next, and maybe he was talented enough to do it, but the health was not there for him to really get to see that through.
So I mean, the fact that they had a full bill of health basically for their running back room, and then their quarterback room took a hit health-wise, obviously. I think it's more tied to that. Now, look, I'm not saying that things look exactly the same with if in fact there's a new offensive coordinator next year, which we don't know about, but I see the biggest thing that you have to change is how your quarterback looks in 2026. And it might mean somebody that's in the room right now, but they have to take a jump from this first year that they were at Mizzou, which that was the case for both the guys that played, both Zowers and Bo Prabula, to having some very strong strides forward against the schedule that's going to be tougher. And like Kirby Moore could be the guy that calls the plays that allows those players to do that, but it will be about how they respond to what they did this past year and how they're able to execute.
Yeah, and I feel like part of that, what did you say, 103rd in passing offense this year?
This year.
Obviously toward the bottom of the barrel. They didn't even need to be anything like top 25. They needed to be like in the 50s because of how prolific the rushing offense was. Like, that part was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That was by design. They probably came into the season saying, hey, we've got great running backs. We've got a scheme that really succeeds on the ground. We've got a good defense. And so kind of leaning on the run and playing keep away and time of possession can be a way to grind out games and win them that way by design. Like, we talked about that. But inevitably, there will be game scripts that don't go to plan, and you have to be able to throw to keep up or throw to come from behind. And their just complete inability to do that is how you end up all the way down, below 100. They wouldn't have needed a top passing offense, especially and again, who would have won the quarterback competition if Sam Horn hadn't been injured? I thought Purbuell all along. And then we're seeing the Kansas game, we're seeing the South Carolina games, and I'm going, hey, this is why. I mean, he looks pretty darn good running, throwing, good dual threat. And then he just completely regressed. And when the competition ramped up, the adjustments were not made. The confidence probably took a hit. I would argue the play caller's confidence probably took a hit because it's like not only did Bo Purbuell kind of go into turtle mode on the field when, any feeling of pressure, better start running, which helps to boost the rush offense totals because he is a good runner. Like, he was billed as one. I think we saw from Bo Purbuell when he gets in the open field, especially, he's a weapon. But then there was just the turtle mode of they had to abandon the pass by the end of it. When you think about, the A&M game, when you think about the Oklahoma game, certainly the Arkansas game, and a game that they won, they abandoned it.
Yeah.
And from a play calling perspective, they abandoned it. And so, it was so, I know that the numbers even bear out probably to be not as bad as it really was, because they were fine as a passing offense against Kansas and South Carolina and then the non-cons. It was so untenable. They had to have been a bottom 5 or bottom 10 pass offense in the country if you just isolated to the last few games, where they literally gave up even trying to do it because of all of the reasons we've talked about. So I don't think that's a way to make the college football playoff. And I think at Missouri, with the resources Drink is going to be given to remake the roster, I'm not saying predict the playoff for next year. I'll probably do it. I will. But I don't think from a baseline that you'd say, oh, the expectation has to be playoff this next year. But there's an opening to do it. But not if you go in with the same plan and say, we can cover up what we don't have in the passing offense by playing elite defense, top 10 in the country, top 5 rushing offense in the country, and we can do it. It's just with that schedule and so the run defenses you'll face, it's just not realistic to try to do it. And so that would be my argument, Andy, against complete status quo, which is Bo's back, Zoller's back, Kirby's back. I think something probably ought to change to introduce the potential for more, unless you are Eli Drinkwitz and you're staking not your career, because he's sitting pretty at Missouri, but you're staking your reputation, you're staking a season, another season, maybe the last one where it's attainable to make the playoff based on a scheduling perspective without just a monumental leap, finding your Mendoza, whatever. If you end up going in and saying the same 2 quarterbacks are going to compete in August, Kirby Moore is going to be our guy. We believe in him. We believe these two can elevate their games over the spring and the summer and into fall camp to where one of them is going to be this downfield passer that has confidence that we can block for him and we can do everything we need with the guys that are in here right now. They might go that route, Andy. And if they do,
I'll say this, it will be met with skepticism, no doubt.
It'll be, and I think rightly, but I also, if I'm Drinkwitz, might have to look at it and say, well, dude, this is who we're paying. And you know what? Maybe other teams want to take Bo. Maybe Penn State wants Bo Purbuell back and they'll pay him. And then it's hey, no buyout from Mizzou. Nothing to worry about if he chooses to go. Maybe Matt Zollers is a developmental project because that's what the case was all along. Remember, he was never supposed to take a snap this year other than when you're playing a Central Arkansas.
Yeah.
Matt Zollers playing as meaningful of snaps as he did, does that open his mind to enough teams would be interested in starting him right away based on what they saw that he would consider a transfer? Or is it status quo, which was I was always going to come in and compete with whoever was still here in 2026. And maybe I would still be on the outside looking in of that competition, but it's my room as a redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior, or as a junior senior. Like, those are the things that could have changed because of Zollers having to be thrust into action, and now he may consider his options. Or he may just be like, no, I always wanted to be here. I'm here, and I'm ready to go in and try to beat out Prbula, which frankly may not be that difficult to do based on what we saw. So, like, there is an element where you develop a quarterback rather than just saying, we didn't have one that worked last year. Go pick some other ones and we'll see what they can do. Matt Zollers was never supposed to be ready to be great in 2025.
Right.
If they liked him when he was in high school and they still like him today, there would be reason to go status quo. But to your point, it's a lot to stake on a plan that doesn't look like it's currently working, and so there would be skepticism out there. And you could easily go 7-5 or 8-4 with us talking about the 2026 season as, oh, you know what? Really good run game, really good defense. They just didn't have the quarterback play. Like, that would be frustrating if they end up having the exact same result because of the same reason.
Because, like, the way that they made the jump in 2023, certainly with the offense, and you can put the passing game in that particular year, along with the run game, like they were excellent that year too, as a main reason why they made the jump, got to 10 wins, got to the Cotton Bowl, everything like that. They came in with the same quarterback they had the year before, and that was met with skepticism. Now, they were still in the transfer portal. I believe that was the Jake Garcia year where he comes in and is thrown into the competition.
That was hilarious.
Along with Sam Horn. So, like, they did something to at least juice up the competition between who was it going to be, and it still ended up being Brady Cook. Now, how much of a chance Jake Garcia had a chance to get the job, we will never know. But what we do know is that was also the year that Kirby Moore came in. So, like, I could point to some changes that they made that year after a year where they were lackluster in most aspects of the offense, and were able to kind of flip it and turn that into a turnaround season. But now with this year, you're obviously stagnating, certainly in the passing game. Do you decide to have at least one thing tweaked? Because, look, it worked 3 years ago. Eli Drinkwitz then decided, hey, I need an OC. And he went out and got one.
Yeah.
And then added to the quarterback room to at least more or less bring more guys in so that you don't have a situation where you're throwing a true freshman out there. But that will be the key thing, is that do you think they go into the transfer portal for a quarterback? I
think they do.
If Bo and Matt Zollers stay.
Oh, that's tough, because you're not going to be able to pay for one. Like, you're not going to be able to pay 3 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, real NIL.
Sure.
Zollers was a highly touted recruit who's getting paid, I'm sure. We know Bo Prbula is being paid.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. Like, you can for, like, a Jake Garcia. He was never going to be the starter.
Right.
Like, he went on to ECU last year and threw 8 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Like,
yeah,
Jake Garcia was not going to beat out, what was it, Brady Cook at the time, right?
Brady Cook and Sam Horn, I think, was also competing still.
But I think he was hurt, wasn't he? Or was that before he got hurt? Because I think
was before the
injury.
Yeah. So he had a chance at it.
The other guys in the room, though, like, transferred, and it was like, hey, Sam Horn also plays baseball, and at any moment could he decide to only play baseball? And so we need to have another body in the room. I think that ended up being the Jake Garcia thing. But, like, to your point about going out, if I were trying to get in Drink's head, dangerous place to be, especially for me.
Yeah.
But if I were trying to get in his head, I would go, man, we have been so close. It could be literally as close as had Fernando Mendoza for a visit, ended up going Prbula because of whatever the timeline was for that. Like, did they get Mendoza on campus? I really feel like I recall hearing
I think that was through the reports. He was visited at least,
or at least there had been conversations.
But he was gonna take more, right? And
right.
So you couldn't wait around.
Or a case where, like, you didn't want to miss out on both.
Right.
And so you kind of offer it to both guys at the same time. Maybe it went that way, and Bo was like, sure, I'm ready. So you go, even if we like the other guy about the same, maybe a little better, they had to get a guy, right?
Yep.
And so near miss. Jaden Daniels was on campus, and, like, LSU comes swooping in, and you don't get him. Near miss. Brady Cook is starting in the NFL probably this week, so it's not to say that he's some bum, but when you're talking about going from good, Brady Cook, to great, like, that's where they have that's where Drink knows they've fallen short. He's a loyal guy. To my knowledge, I don't think Eric Link has been fired yet, somehow.
Well,
but, what?
You don't have to. You can just let his contract run out in January.
Oh, is he up to his final?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like that could happen.
My point, I didn't even need to bring that in, but my point is, like, I feel he's loyal to his coaches and wants to make things work and believes in them. It's not to say he's not loyal to the players, but like it would take a leap in logic to believe that Bo Prabula is going to elevate to the level that I think they'll need him to as not really as a physical thrower, as like a processor of the game from the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Anybody can process defenses against KU and South Carolina this year. But when you had to play the real SEC defenses, the processing, Andy, I think ended up being the problem. Not even the physical tools. Like, his arm's fine. I don't think his arm is outrageously good, but it's like it would have gotten the job done if he had the processing part of it down of the position, where I just feel like that was not quite there. Maybe you think Zollers can be ready, but maybe he can't quite be ready. The problem is, like, if Bo wants to stay and Zollers wants to stay, maybe you are locked into what that looks like. If Bo Prabula is really getting courted by a Penn State or somebody else, and you're kind of like, hey, man, you're going to be in a competition here next fall. So if they're telling you some things that you like to hear, no harm, no foul. Like, no hard feelings. We wouldn't blame you if you went. Does that open up Drink to be able to do what he maybe wants to do and be like, I think Zollers is still good, but he's probably the QB2 for one more year. And if he's bought into the long term of it, then that'll work. And I don't have to worry about him transferring out. Even if it's a guy that I only have for 1 year as a mercenary, I'm going out and getting the best quarterback in the portal. And we are using the war chest to where that guy can't say no. Like, if I can get him to buy into the vision, it won't be money that causes him to go somewhere else. Because I think Drink realizes if they had in either of those cases gotten Jaden Daniels or gotten Fernando Mendoza, and I'm not blaming anybody for why it didn't it just didn't come together in either case.
Yeah.
But are you probably almost assuredly in a playoff in those years? Like, literally this year, I think that would have been a difference maker. Think about having the quarterback superiority at Oklahoma. They win the game. Oklahoma's offense did not play well that day. Like, Mizzou's defense shut them down. At Vandy, are you joking?
Yeah, man.
So, like, you're probably talking about a playoff this year, certainly in whatever that would have been, 23.
Yeah.
I think you'd be talking about a playoff as good as Brady was. Good to great. We're talking about going from good to great. And so unless you know you've got a bead on an OC, that's great. Like, is it a better allocation of resources to maybe casually go, if Bo decides to leave, that does open us up to potentially really, pedal to the metal, try to get the guy of the portal season in at quarterback, if there is one, and do it that way. But I also don't know that they're running Bo Prabula out of town either. That's where it's like, these next couple of weeks will be really instructive in maybe how this all plays out.
875-KTGR, give us a call or a text. Steve texted in, regardless of an OC change or not, Mizzou will need growth or advancement at QB. Need a QB who can make hot reads, wide receiver 2, make it to the second or third wide receiver on progression, and be able to audible out of wrong plays.
So a lot to ask of a college QB, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with everything you said.
And it's not
but
to say that Bo Prabula doesn't know how to do it, but like it is something that college QBs do have to be mindful of and ready to do. And you need to see better propensity of it as a season goes along.
It's so crazy though. Like, I remember when it happened, Mendoza and Prabula, and I was happy to get Bo because I was excited about the rushing allure. And I thought he'd be more of the thrower he was against Kansas and South Carolina than the one that we saw in the latter portion of the season. And so I was really excited about him. I won't pretend I wasn't. But like with Mendoza, it was like very clear, like he's probably going to be really good. But the other part that we don't know is like, had Mendoza gone somewhere else, is he Heisman finalist, top 5 pick shoe-in of the NFL draft? Or did Kurt Cignetti in Indiana, like, is the coach there that has turned the most historically bad program in college football over the last century? Is Cignetti doing something right that like would not have been replicated even if you had gotten Mendoza in? And that would lead you to say replace the coordinator. But you can't know unless you get like 1,000 simulations to try every which way that you could fix the offense. Drink is the captain of the program. He's the CEO, and he'll have to decide, here's what I think it is, and here's how I go about addressing it. And, we'll see whether he's able to, have his way with addressing it. Yeah. Even if he identifies, maybe it's a Kirby Moore problem, but we've decided that because of the money and because, he's good enough that we're going to address it differently than that. But only Drink really at the end of the day is going to know. It just feels like the more things that happen, someone leaves a job, someone transfers, like someone points to and go, oh, he thinks it was that. But it's really not happening in a vacuum. You have to consider the money. You have to consider the contracts and everything else that goes into it.
875-KTGR, give us a call or a text. James says on our texter, imagine how good the running game could be if there was a downfield passing threat. Run game's already pretty darn good.
but to the point, like, we know who stacked the boxes against Ahmad Hardy, and we know that it often worked.
Maybe they actually get yards against Auburn and Oklahoma. And
if you
like
could
that,
chunk it downfield on those two defenses,
right,
suddenly it just coalesces to where I don't know who stops Missouri.
Yeah.
Like, truly, if they had quarterback play this year at a Mendoza level or even close to it, I don't know who stops them. And every single loss other than A&M, I just really, and maybe that one ends up being, 48-45, somebody wins it, because A&M played in a number of those games with good passing offenses this year.
Marty is with us here on the KTGR hotline. Let's go to Marty. How are you today, sir?
Good. Doing great. This is a playoff team with better quarterback play. And you've heard me say this before. If Brady Cook's the quarterback, Missouri's in the playoffs. Doesn't work that way. Everybody understands that. But that's just to draw a parallel. That's what it was. It was just bad quarterback play. And if I'm Drink and knowing what it takes to get to that next level, I would be scared to death with the quarterback room as it is. Doesn't mean those guys won't get better. They might. Zollers probably will. I'm not so sure about Perbilia. I don't think you can go into next season feeling real confident about having a chance to make the playoffs with those two guys, especially Zollers at his age, and Perbilia being your two guys. I just don't. I understand the way the NIL works, and that's going to be a difficult situation for him to maneuver and him to figure out. How do you allocate the money? What do you do? I don't know where Perbilia is going to go, honestly, if it's not back to Penn State without stepping down in a level of competition. And if he does that, I don't think the payout's going to be anywhere near what Missouri's paying him. So he's also got that decision to make. But it just doesn't give me as a fan, and I wouldn't think as a coaching staff, a lot of confidence with those two guys being in your quarterback room and being the guys that are likely to start for you next season. I wouldn't be happy with it. I don't think Drinkwitz is either.
Well,
have a good day. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Appreciate the call,
Merry
Marty,
Christmas,
here
Marty.
on the big show, KTGR, and have fun at the street racing track. That sounds like where you were. I agree that I don't know what Bo Prabula would be getting better than what he has right now as essentially like a starter at the moment at an SEC school.
Yeah,
other than
the money
going
is
back to
tied
Penn
to,
State. Yeah.
And if the money is guaranteed, right? We don't know the contract. We think it's 2 years, so that there's another year.
Yeah.
If Penn State maybe pays him a little bit less, but Bo has had conversations with the staff at Missouri to say, like, this is truly a toss-up, and maybe Penn State's like, no, you've got the inside track. If those conversations had happened at both places, and like you could do that in sort of a way to nudge if you're Missouri and you really would like to be able to go take another crack at finding a portal quarterback, then you could play that up and say, truly it's going to come down to camp and here's the things you need to improve upon to get the inside track. But right now it's going to be an open competition between you and Matt, and we'll take the best guy, the best performing player come August. If that's the way that they look at it, and Bo is told by Penn State that, like, yeah, we really want you to run this offense and here's how we envision it, then, even if it is a little less money, could that compel a player to, and we don't know that Penn State, there's just been a lot of like talk on the internet of like, Penn State's offering, they're already trying to get Bo Prabula back. So it could go any number of ways. But I agree with Marty's thought on, like, it seems unlikely that Bo would leave of his own accord for something lesser like a G5 or even like a lesser Big 12 ACC, because I don't think the money would be the same. Not to say that money is the only motivator, but I don't have any reason to believe that Bo Prabula isn't happy on this team and just probably wishes he performed a little better.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no reason to think that he's not going to still be here, other than this notion that clearly the offense wasn't good enough. And so something would have to give in order to make a change at one of the quarterback spots, offensive coordinator, whatever it would look like, to be able to try and inspire more production next year.
875-KTGR, give us a call or a text with your thoughts on the offense. What needs to change? If it is a different OC next year, which that's not the case right now, Kirby Moore's still the OC. I know there's maybe some rumors about Washington State out there, but would that be the biggest change, you think? 875-5847. What would be most impactful to change for Mizzou's offense for the better next year? We'll get more of your thoughts on it, but also your thoughts on Mizzou men's basketball tonight. What do you need to see against Alabama State? We'll get to that next.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Advanced Tree Solutions. If you have ever called them up for service on your trees, you know exactly what type of people they are. They're not going to upcharge you. They're not going to beat around the bush. No, they'll come out, inspect your trees. They'll tell you exactly what needs to be done. And they'll even go above and beyond to make sure that they are safe, even doing things that might not cost you anything in order to ensure their long-term health and safety. So you're not only getting the most trusted tree experts in mid-Missouri, but you're also getting a team that knows how to take care of you at the same time. That's Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions. Call him today about tree pruning so he can take care of that. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com. There you can also see their full range of services, tree removal. They also do stump grinding, even commercial snow removal. So if you have a business that needs snow removal later on this winter, keep them in mind. Your trees will thank you if you go with Advanced Tree Solutions. Go to advancedtreesolutionsllc.com.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering. The chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat to your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
Bet the game day action right from your phone. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Use Radio MO. Place your first bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Open to new users in Missouri who are 21 or older. First wager after registration must qualify and win. And bonus bets expire 30 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos or the promotions tab on the app for full terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, we're Midway Electric. When winter hits, electrical issues can turn serious fast, at home or at your business. That's why you need a trusted local team that shows up, solves the problem, and stands behind the work. From whole home generators and security systems to everyday service and repairs, Midway Electric has you covered. And now through January, get $500 off a whole home generator installation to keep you powered up no matter the weather. Midway Electric, powered by people with pride. MidwayElectricInc.com.
The Lee's Tire Company Holiday Survival Kit. Snacks packed, gifts wrapped, and tires that won't slide around like a plate full of holiday gravy. Better call Lee's Tire Company. Right now, buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and select brands. This is a massive holiday deal, so make sure you stop into Lee's Tire Company for their buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and select brands.
Ho, ho, ho. Lee's Tire Company is round for you. Ooh, see Lee's.
You don't just sell, you connect. You listen, learn, and deliver. You build relationships that turn clients into partners. At Fuse 32, our people don't push products. They craft solutions. They anticipate problems before they even happen, and they fix them before anyone notices. If results and relationships, not excuses, drive you, then it's about time to join the team that never settles. Fuse 32. There's nothing we can't do. Apply now at Fuse32.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the Big Show on KTGR.
So does an offensive coordinator change become the most impactful change for this offense for Mizzou football? It's not a change. They're not changing OCs yet, at least. Kirby Moore's still the OC. Maybe he gets a different job elsewhere. Washington State rumors out there, but he's still Mizzou's OC. But if that change were to happen, is that the most impactful? I still think it's quarterback. And look, it could be the same quarterbacks next year, But don't leave out of the question maybe Mizzou thinking, hey, we could go to the transfer portal and maybe do better than we did this past offseason. I don't know. Maybe they feel that Matt Zowers. Here's what I'll say about Matt Zowers. I get it. Like this year, I think it's easy to see why he might struggle in the situations that he was put in. Again, first, elongated amount of football that he's played in 2 years because of the high school injury that he got senior season, the fact that he was thrust into the role when they weren't really expecting him to have to do that, but injuries necessitated it, and so he's out there. I would think next year that you would, if Matt Zowers is what he's billed to be, that he does take a step forward, or at least they prepare him to take that step forward, and that he's more capable of showing it earlier in the season. And maybe if he's in a competition with Bo Prabula, like it's not on insider info, but I would just think on upside and for how this guy was billed, I would think he has a good chance to win the job.
And the arm is not to be questioned. Like the arm talent is there. We know that. We saw glimpses of that. So maybe it's just everything else, the consistency of it and the processing, kind of like we talked about with Bo. I would wonder, though, like almost to your point, how was it billed by Drinkwitz to Matt Zollers, who feels like you're going to have a freshman quarterback in every class. Most of them are never going to play. Like think about the most recent 2 or 3 that we would mention their name and be excited about, and then they would really never factor in. Zollers feels like he came with more hype than most of those, to where like there was the thought that eventually it would be, and Drake has said like it's going to be Matt Zollers' program someday. He doesn't talk about that, and coaches don't talk about that about every single freshman quarterback that is just like the token, we got to have one in the class, so here, this is our guy.
Yeah.
Whether that's a 3-star, 4-star, like for the next 2 years, there's Gavin Sidwar, and then there's another kid for the next class that they're already working on. Like, those are going to be there. Zollers felt different, but I wonder how it was billed by Drink to, like, surely he didn't tell him, like, you're going to have a real opportunity to start as a true freshman, but was it, hey, come in and get ready because by year 2, this is a competition that you could genuinely be involved in if you do the right things to like, take your development seriously.
Right.
Like it would have been otherworldly, especially after the high school injury, to think that he would have been playing this year on purpose.
And maybe they had a better plan to like, maybe he does have a chance as a true freshman, but without knowing about the injury that happened senior year, he obviously committed before that. And so circumstances change. Look, Eli Drinkwitz has made it very clear how he feels about Matt Zowers, right? Future of the program. Like
in the portal era, can you say that about somebody that you don't think by year 2 is legit in the competition?
Yeah.
I don't think you talk that way unless it was always kind of just, whether spoken or unspoken, assumed that like Matty Z, get on campus for a year and then let's go to work. Because you could be a starter in the SEC as a sophomore, as a second-year collegiate athlete. Like that was always on the table. And I think that only gets accelerated by the fact that he got some actual game reps this year. It doesn't get depleted because he didn't look always consistent in those game reps. I think the plan would still be, if Zollers is who Drink has talked about him to be, and Drink still thinks in his heart of hearts that he can become that Matt Zollers could easily be the quarterback for this team next year. I don't think you just gift it to him. You have to have somebody else that's competing with him, whether that's Prabula or a transfer that comes in because Prabula leaves. But that would be the realm in which, as much as we would be skeptical, we would also be able to say, like, this was probably the plan for Zollers all along. Just because we saw him the first year doesn't mean that should change. But you're staking everything on the quarterback position again, because that's the way football works. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. But I would say of all of the permutations of what could happen, isn't Zollers the one guy that I want to still be here? Of Bo, of Zollers, of Kirby Moore?
I think so. Yep.
Of the 3, the 2 QBs and the coach, the one that I would most want to at least be involved is probably still Matt Zollers, because you could change the other 2 things, or one of the other 2 things, and still there's this hope of like, Drink was right about Zollers. He hasn't been able to get the transfer to come in that has just blown the doors off of everything. Brady Cook wasn't his recruit, but it got a lot out of him. But maybe Zollers is like the first example of nailing the quarterback because they wanted him, they sought him out, they got him as a high schooler, and then you develop him. So that would be the one guy, if he transfers, I'll go, oh, man, we still aren't really going to know. When Drink had his guy, what did it look like?
875 KTGR to get your thoughts in on Mizzou football's offense. All right, tonight, Mizzou men's basketball taking on Alabama State. James texting in, all Mizzou's offense Sunday was to give it to Mitchell and watch him go 1-on-3. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, especially when you go up against Kansas. Now, here's the thing tonight. What's interesting, I mean, obviously, Dennis Gates talked about free throw shooting the other day, and that clearly you need to see guys get to the line a little bit more, specific guys, particularly in the backcourt. And once they get there, they got to make their shots. Tonight, Mizzou really could just play bully ball with their bigs and win this game. Like it's
right.
Just like Mark Mitchell could just get every single paint touch that he could possibly get, power through and get all the points. Like Alabama State is a small team. The tallest guy is 6'9", but then their third tallest guy is 6'6". So like they're 286 in average height in Division I, according to KenPom. So Mizzou could just completely overpower them inside and do that. But
what do we learn?
What do we learn about that? Do you want to see your guards maybe take this over a little bit more? Like
yes.
You need to kind of get a little more info about how they can get going with these next couple of games before your next important one against Illinois. So like, is this a game where sure, you could have double bigs, but do you want to maybe have a smaller lineup out there to spread the floor and allow guys to operate and get to the free throw line like you want them to?
It's almost like if you are plotting out your lineups and your rotations based on the best possible way to beat Alabama State, we've got bigger problems, my friend. Like that, like don't accept the matchup advantage due to size. We've seen what that can look like, and you'll win by 30. That's great. Nobody cares. I absolutely think, Andy, it would make more sense to use this as an advantage to where like it shouldn't cost you a game to almost play left-handed a little bit and say, you know what, at our strength in this matchup wouldn't be to do it this way, but we should be able to win it anyway, and we can get meaningful reps for what it needs to look like in games where we can't just bully people inside because they're smaller than us. We need to put the guards in position to where they have to be the ones making plays and processing what that looks like to be put into that spot. I absolutely agree with you and hope that is the way that Dennis Gates handles it. I think it might be based on the conversations and the things he said publicly this week about the spacing and about, some of those very aspects. I think he's kind of in tune with that right now. And so we'll see if that ends up becoming the way he approaches tonight's game.
Yeah, look, win the game. The priority number one, make sure that happens. And if you struggle in the first half because you're trying to do what we're talking about, get other guys going in the backcourt so that they can find their game, but it doesn't get you a lead at halftime, and it's like Alabama State's hanging around, then like, okay, Mark Mitchell, go out there, take over the game, make sure we win this. But yeah, I would like to see that. We'll see if we do. You got a score prediction?
I don't.
Cool.
I am so resigned to. I'm so apathetic until we get to see some action against some real competition. Out of protest, I will not even give a score prediction. They'll win.
You're no fun. Come on.
They'll win by. Can I tell you? They'll win by 25.
Oh, like my score prediction was close to that. I'll go 86-60.
Me too. They'll win. They'll win like the way they're supposed to win against these lesser teams, and we'll learn nothing.
Yeah.
Unless what happens is they do lean more on the guards and make them do things that can be replicated against stiffer competition.
Get to the free throw line and make your free throws. Like if you see like making your free throws, who cares who the opponent is? Like that's you in the basket and the ball, and like
100%
get better at that. Getting at least things steered in the right direction.
I bet they'll make more free throws than Alabama State shoots. There will be a prediction for you.
Oh yeah,
like that's something that's being stressed in practice this week.
So.
It is.
Absolutely. So. I think that'll happen. So we'll see if Mizzou men's basketball can get that done. Coverage begins 6:30 tonight right here on KTGR with tip-off at 7. Onto the bus next. When we signed off on our show last night in the 5 o'clock hour, I mean, we just knew that Sharon Moore was fired for cause. In the 24 hours since, boy, oh boy, lots occurred. We'll get to that and under the bus next.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball is back in action tonight as they prepare to host the Alabama State Hornets. The Tigers are currently 8-2, but have dropped their last 2 games against Notre Dame and Kansas. Alabama State holds a record of 3-6 and have dropped their last 3 games. Tip-off from Mizzou Arena is at 7 o'clock right here on KTGR. And the Missouri Tigers football 2026 schedule will be released this evening as a part of the SEC football schedule reveal going on at 7 o'clock. As a reminder for Mizzou's opponents next season that the conference will release back in September, the Missouri Tigers will host Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Florida, Kentucky, and Texas, and they will go on the road to take on Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Mizzou women's basketball fell last night 70-62 in the bragging rights game from Mizzou Arena. Grace Slaughter led the way for the Tigers as she posted a 19-point, 10-rebound double-double. The Tigers will be back in action this Sunday as they travel east on I-70 to take on the St. Louis Billikens. Tip-off is at 2 p.m. right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. Merry Christmas from Steve, Anita, Megan, Jared, and the entire team at Steve's Pest Control. Wishing you and your family a safe and happy holiday season.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking temperatures dropping down into the upper 20s this evening under mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and it's chillier with winds out of the northwest. We'll see highs in the upper 30s. Heading into Saturday, I'm tracking even colder temperatures with high temperatures making it into the upper 20s. We'll see a chance of snow north of Highway 36. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
The foundation is set.
Missouri knocks off the #1 team in the nation.
The frame is built.
On the run, Mitchell for the flush, Missouri by 20.
And the gates,
the habits, the response to detail, the execution, all that stuff matters.
Are open.
Drives right baseline to the rim, jams it as he hangs and got fouled.
This is your radio home for Mizzou basketball.
Cruz, here comes the 3. Bang, he splashed it home.
Mid-Missouri's total sports station, KTGR.
Leland, I think Mom's been hitting the candy canes again.
Yep, she said if you come into Bet's Jewelers and say you heard this ad on the radio, you get $100 off. $100, no minimum. No catch, any jewelry in stock.
So earrings under $100?
Free. Should I tell Dad or should you?
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas from Bet's Jewelers. Beautiful moments begin at Bet's. Begin at Bet's.
This weekend, cancel your plans. Brunch is calling at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Start with biscuits, not just any biscuits, local made, buttermilk, sweet corn, even gluten-free, smothered in scratch-made gravy, pork sausage, or the chorizo. Don't forget the loaded biscuit, fluffy omelet, drenched in gravy, stacked so high it's basically brunch art. And then there's the Dive Cristo, smoked ham, house-made raspberry jam, gooey cheese wrapped in a flaky puff pastry. The Monte Cristo wishes it was this good. Brunch Saturday and Sunday only at the Dive Bar in Columbia. Don't just eat, experience.
Hi, this is Kim with Hearing Aid Consultants and Allmake Repair Lab at 315 Ellis Boulevard in Jefferson City. From carols sung by a choir to the tearing of wrapping paper and jingling of bells, the holiday season is a time full of delightful sounds you shouldn't have to miss. If you think your quality of hearing may be turning you grinchy, come in for a free hearing evaluation so you don't miss a single jingle. We are here for you today so you can hear tomorrow. Find us online at hearingaidconsultants.com.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field.
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Stickland & Stickland.
My name is Taylor, and I have had insurance with Phyllis Nichols and her team for over 9 years. One of my first and only auto claims for me personally came when we were on a long road trip, and I was maybe following a semi-truck a little too close, and we all know when those rocks pop up, crack your windshield. First thing I did the next day was call Phyllis. Phyllis handled the whole thing. She got us into, I think, one of the local vendors to replace our windshield, and within 24 hours, it was done, it was over, and made it a very seamless process.
Housing, business, economics, the future. Just a few of the topics some of our youngest local entrepreneurs discuss in the latest issue of Inside Columbia Magazine. In the bookshelf section, we'll help you find the perfect page turners this winter and get that warm, toasty holiday feeling with Twain's Winter Orchard Margarita. Cheers to that. It's all inside Columbia Magazine. Get your copy today at break time convenience stores or have it delivered at InsideColumbia.net.
I'm Michael Agnew with API Project Fitness. At API, we're dedicated to helping you reach your fitness goals with workouts that are motivating, challenging, and effective. Our group classes are high energy and designed to maximize your time with efficient movements and smooth flow. There are real results here to find, whether you're just starting out or ready to push it to the next level. API is where hard work meets progress. Everyone needs a fitness routine. Let us be yours. Sign up today for a free trial at apiprojectfitness.com.
Your daily fix of local sports lives here. This is The Big Show on KTGR.
It's time to go under the bus on The Big Show.
So yesterday, we go off the air on our show, and all we know is that Sharon Moore was fired for cause for an inappropriate relationship with a staffer. Following that night, we learned that he was detained by police, being held in jail. He apparently now has an arraignment Friday for apparently some incident that happened that night. So all that's happening. Then we kind of learn more about the situation, and there's reporting that maybe Michigan knew about this thing before, National Signing Day and things like that. So they signed their recruits, and
there has been, if you follow various prominent college football media, not just the beat writers or the national writers, but podcasters and different people that are prominent enough to where they might have some intel. It seems like this explains a lot of the weird ways that some of these dudes have been tweeting about how this coaching carousel could end up, with twists and turns you're not expecting.
Yeah.
I think Michigan, it's reasonable to surmise that Michigan knew months ago and kind of played this out to say are we going to make the playoff? No. Okay. Didn't make the playoff. Oh, didn't beat Ohio State. Okay. Okay. Let's go signing day and then we'll get this done. I think that happened. I believe that all of that happened in Michigan, timed it the way they did. Thusly, it's not to say that he wasn't rightfully fired. Maybe some questions about the way that they did it as well that leads to him kind of having, this breakdown of whatever he may have been attempting to do or doing yesterday evening when police needed to intervene. But wow, what an ugly situation all the way around. But no, I definitely believe that Michigan knew and timed it the way they wanted to time it.
And if that's the case, then their AD Ward Manuel has to go, right? He's got to be out too.
Who's going to make him? I mean, is the NCAA going to step in and say, investigate and say, they did, and you held this information until you were ready to utilize it?
Yeah.
And the NCAA can say you're banned from competition if the guy, show cause for the AD. I don't know. There's got to be some sort of investigating done, but do I trust the NCAA to uncover investigation that happens at Michigan?
Nope.
So
already
who
happened.
knows, man?
Already happened. It's just so ugly at the moment. And yeah, if they get rid of him, that's another college football playoff committee member gone too.
Oh my goodness. These people had more on their plate.
He was the chairman last year. Ward Manuel was.
What a joke.
Golly.
Under the bus.
I just, at this point, hey, maybe that's good news for you and me, Brendan. Maybe we can, with enough people can
put me on the list,
taken on off the committee list, and we can start moving on up, baby.
There you go.
It's time for the sweetest thing in sports on The Big Show.
This came out yesterday. Ahmad Hardy was named by the AP the SEC Newcomer of the Year. Yeah, pretty darn deserving. I believe the coaches picked Trinidad Chambliss of Ole Miss, another very good pick.
Yeah.
D2 transfer comes in and leads Ole Miss to the playoff. But Ahmad Hardy, my gosh, making that type of jump from G5 to the SEC and leading the SEC in rushing pretty much all year. Doak Walker Award finalist. That's well-deserved for one, Ahmad Hardy. Believe we learn about the Doak Walker tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think we do.
All right.
So we'll see. I mean, I still think he has a shot.
I don't think they'll give it to him. He deserves it, but
yeah.
I'm skeptical.
Jeremiah Love is one of the other finalists, too. It will probably be him.
As is Quan Lacey.
Yeah. I think I don't know if they released the voting who came in second. I think Ahmad Hardy would be ahead of Quan Lacey, but that's just
me. I hope so, but we'll see.
So Doak Walker released tomorrow. We'll see if Ahmad Hardy gets that big trophy. And in the meantime, we'll try to help you out a lot next hour. We're going to be in the advice business, it seems, next hour. Over-unders for Chiefs-Chargers. Play Fade Eliminate. Goes for fantasy football questions. Text them to us, 875-KTGR. And then John Price of Sports Information Traders will try to help you out in the betting aspect. All coming up next on The Big Show. We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy and Brendan here. And as you might know, sports wagering legal here in Missouri now. And it's the perfect time to bring on our next guest. It's John Price, one of the premier.
It's that time of year again. Hit a deer, win a cow with FPP Body Shop. Listen, I'm not saying actively crash your vehicle into a deer, but if you do hit a deer, FPP will ease that stress with a $20 gift card to Fulton Worst House. And you'll be entered in to win the grand prize, a $500 gift card.
Man, I tell you what, winner last year had a cookout with every meat known to man. He all right?
Yeah, Billy. The winner will be popular again this year, too. With FPP, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Hit a deer, win a cow. FPPBodyShop.com.
The warm scent of maple spiced coffee fills the air. And is that a hint of Caribbean rum? That must be Caldy's Coffee Highlander Grog Brewing. Our decadent maple spiced blend that's won fans nationwide. Loved for how it smells and for how it makes you feel. Each cup brings back the comfort of a classic coffee morning. Cozy, nostalgic, maple spiced coffee. Shop Caldy'sCoffee.com for your bag today. Also available in pods.
As we wrap up the end of 2025, we always try to encourage our clients that are looking for roofs, decks, siding, windows, covered porches, or whatever the project may be, kitchens, baths, basements, just to go ahead and start the process now at the end of 25. For those of you that are looking to get projects done in the first half of 2026, because things do book up fast once the holidays are over, the new year hits, and everyone starts focusing again on getting their stuff lined up for the summer. So now's the time if you want to beat the rush. Yeah, when you get started early, you have time where we can work through budgets and ideas, and we can start with your dream wish list, and we can offer financing to complement that and get the project not only that you really want and will upgrade your home, but also that's comfortable to you budget-wise.
The difference between a house and a home is the attention to detail. At True Sun Exteriors and Interiors, we'll turn your vision of a dream home into a reality. For more information or a free estimate, go to TrueSunExteriors.com.
TrueSunExteriors.com. KTGR AM Columbia, KTGR FM Fulton Columbia, K286CL Columbia, in Missouri's total sports station. KTGR.
Status for Monday Night Football against the Dolphins up in the air. Injury occurred while getting treatment at the team facility. He had 6 tackles and a TFL. And the Steelers win over the Ravens on Sunday. Elsewhere, Baltimore reached a 3-year extension agreement with defensive tackle Travis Jones to avoid a grievance about his free agent eligibility. Deal is worth $40.5 million, keeping him with the Ravens through 2028. Jones' 6 tackles for loss tied for Baltimore's team lead. Thursday Night Football, Buccaneers taking on the Falcons. Tampa wide receiver Mike Evans expected to make his return from the broken collarbone that he suffered back in Week 7. In baseball, the Braves are signing former Padres closer Robert Suarez to a 3-year, $45 million deal, has a 2.87 ERA over the last 2 seasons.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
From Faroe,
15 to the 10 to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall. And it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown. Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brendan on KTGR.
Some NFL talk coming up here in just a little bit. Chiefs Chargers. We'll give our over-unders for the game. You can weigh in on them. You can give us some over-unders to weigh in on. Also, with a call or text at 875-KTGR and a comment on our YouTube channel, also youtube.com/@KTGR Sports. You can also give us some fantasy football questions. You might be in a playoff matchup for your fantasy football league this weekend, so we'll try to help you out as best we can. And John Price of Sports Information Traders gives us some betting advice at 5:45, 875-5847 to weigh in. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
What has to give for Mizzou football offensively to go from good to great? I really think that's the question facing Eli Drinkwitz this offseason. And we got to talking about it kind of due to some rumors that were probably false. Gabe DeArmond reporting that no, Kirby Moore was not in Pullman, Washington yesterday related to the Washington State head coaching opening. But people trying to connect those dots, then realizing, well, something does have to change, right? Like, would Mizzou come back with Kirby Moore at offensive coordinator, with Bo Perbula in the quarterback competition against Matt Zollers, and it's just we're expecting everybody to elevate? Or is this going to be the offseason where Eli Drinkwitz says, hey, I identify that this is the thing I want to tweak about this dynamic, and go out and maybe it's change the quarterback and I'm getting my white whale? It will be very interesting to see what happens there. I also won't be surprised to see if all the same parties are back next year.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
Mizzou men's basketball takes on Alabama State tonight, 7 p.m. at Mizzou Arena. And I think Andy hit the nail on the head. This is not a game that I want to see Missouri win bully ball against one of the smallest teams in the nation. I want to see the guard play improve, and I want to see Dennis Gates kind of force it with his lineup choices, lean on some of these guys that you're not going to be able to bully your way with Sean Phillips and Mark Mitchell and some of the SEC competition. Need more out of Ant Robinson and need to make the dang free throws, gang.
Number 3.
Mizzou women's basketball, unfortunately, last night losing the bragging rights game at Mizzou Arena 70-62. I think as we talked yesterday with Brad Trinago, would have been their signature win of the season so far. Hey, now they have a chance to get another one, maybe playing SLU. Something Mizzou men's hoops is not going to do, I know, but I still would love to see it.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Total nightmare for the Sharon Moore situation. Want to respect the delicate nature of it. He's reportedly or was in police custody after lashing out, presumably about the unraveling of his career at Michigan. You hate to see any situation unravel like this, and it does seem like Moore should have been relieved of his duties. But there's a question about how Michigan approached it. Were they aware of him potentially dealing with mental health issues? Nicole Auerbach reporting that they were, and yet they fire him with no HR present. Feels kind of reckless. And also everybody and their brother seems to have known that this was something Michigan knew about months ago, potentially. For them to wait until they didn't beat the CFP, didn't make the CFP, didn't beat Ohio State, feels like kind of scummy to me.
Number 5.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
Fantasy football playoffs start tonight with Falcons Bucks. Let's play Fate Eliminated at
That's
5:45.
The Big Show's top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
875-KTGR. If you want to give us a call or text here, that'll be, we've already got some questions in, so we'll get to some of those.
These are the weeks where people are like amped up because like, okay, I've been listening to this guy yammer on about fantasy every Thursday for the whole season, but he's kind of a dummy, and so I don't really need it. But then on this day, they're like, okay, fine. Like I will ask anybody and everybody. I'll ask the grocery store clerk what they think about my fantasy lineup. Like this is when it gets serious, and so even if I'm gonna ignore him, I might as well get the info that he wants to share. So. Yes, you do not have to take the advice, but it is good to talk through some of it.
Fade the advice.
Fade the advice.
Fade the advice.
Eliminate me from your mind and do the opposite. Absolutely.
So
we'll help an option here.
In either direction, we will help you out
At
525 875 5847 if you want to call or text us here. Let's play the over-under game with Chiefs Chargers coming up on Sunday. Chiefs need it. And
yes, they do.
Chargers kind of need it too, though. I mean,
it would really help them. It would really help them.
I mean, I know that they have a better record and they're in right now.
They just need to not collapse because the one team that can pass them is the Chiefs, in my opinion. Like, technically, the Colts are only a game behind you in the wild card conversation. But I think the Chiefs are the only real threat. And if you beat them head-to-head for the second time, you have neutralized that threat. You're in. Like, the Chargers winning, they'd get to 10 wins. I don't think they played the Dolphins. They beat the Steelers, so they'd have the head-to-head there. Like, there's no... Well, they did play Dolphins and beat them. So, literally... Do they even officially clinch? I guess not, because the Colts will
Indy
technically
is
not.
still there, but man,
the Colts are there.
You feel like Indy's gonna hang around that much
They're not
longer.
going to beat. They're almost like a 2-touchdown underdog against Seattle. And by the way, they're going to start Phillip Rivers. I was kind of surprised that Will Carroll was like, I don't think they're going to. Like, no, dude, they're bringing him in because they're going to start him. I don't think he gets up off the couch for anything else other than actually coming into play. So yeah. Phillip Rivers is going to play a football game on Sunday, and that is going to be must-see television, in my opinion. But no, I do not believe that he is going to be successful in that endeavor. I don't think they're going to win that game because I think Seattle is just that good. They are a legit Super Bowl contender. So outside of the Colts, who, like, for other reasons we are mentally discounting, the Chargers would clinch if they beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
they could really use it. The Chiefs absolutely must have it. So naturally, I don't think it's a surprise that the sports books are looking at this one, Andy, and they're saying, when in doubt, when the Chiefs' backs are against the wall and Patrick Mahomes is their quarterback and Andy Reid's their coach, we're going to kind of err on the side of they're going to figure it out. This might be the last time that happens, though.
There's been several games like that this year that they have lost.
If you've been eating that narrative like I was last week when I knew the Texans were going to win the game, you have been making a pretty penny on it. This might be your last opportunity of the year to do it. If you are just convinced that it's over for Kansas City. Andy, are you convinced that it's over for Kansas City, or is this a game that they can win as a 5.5-point favorite? Like, they are expected to win this football game.
I mean, the door is still open. And the help they need is not inconceivable to get, right? They would need the Colts falling out, obviously, which is going to happen.
Let's just assume it's going to happen.
Yeah, but then the Chargers, like, what'll have to happen there is that a loss against either the Cowboys or the Texans, it could happen. Have to go to Dallas and host Houston at their place.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be a loss to the Broncos, though, which is, are the Broncos going to be trying?
That's the scary part. Especially, are the Broncos going to be trying if they know that them losing knocks the Chiefs out of the playoffs? That might be reason enough for me to tank the whole opinion that I have held this week of the Chiefs are going to, if they beat the Chargers, they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sean Payton has the opportunity to do the funniest thing. Remember when the Broncos wasn't it the Broncos that beat the Chiefs last year when the Chiefs didn't play anybody?
Yeah.
Imagine Sean Payton willingly laying down his arms to be the Chiefs version of that against the Chargers, where he goes, take me. You run us over like a train.
Right.
It doesn't matter. We don't care. We are happy to let you knock out the Kansas City Chiefs from the playoffs officially. If it comes down to that, the Chiefs are screwed. Like, they have literally no chance. Sean Payton will. Now, the only hope is that they need it for the bye still. If the Patriots and Broncos are like neck and neck for the bye and a win gets them the bye, you need to root for that if you're a Chiefs fan, because that is the part of this equation that I wasn't considering until I was looking at it earlier today. Sean Payton has the opportunity to do the funniest thing, and he will.
Well, and look,
I think if it comes to it,
if the Broncos have the bye, then they could essentially decide to not have the Chiefs be their first opponent in the playoffs by laying down and letting the Chargers win to shove the Chiefs out.
So you should be also rooting for the Patriots to kind of stay even Steven with the Broncos throughout this process, because if the Broncos are behind the Patriots, that's also a problem. If they're ahead of the Patriots by too much, that is a problem. You need the Patriots and the Broncos to stay in lockstep, essentially, to where that Week 18 game is one that the Broncos need to secure. And like, that is a tight line to walk. Otherwise, what you would need is the Chargers to lose both the Texans and the Cowboys game, because that would put them at 10-7 with a win over the Broncos, and the Chiefs would still have that tiebreaker. Because the Chargers have currently 9 wins. That is correct.
I think the Chargers need another division loss, though. That's the problem. For the tiebreaker to be in the Chiefs' favor, the Chargers do not have a division loss right now. They are 4-0. Kansas City is 1-2.
You're right. They would both be 4-2.
So that one of the losses does need to come against the Broncos.
Denver.
Yep.
So you need to do the entire tightrope walk the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just as simple as beating the Chargers. Yep, I kind of forgot about that because in my head, that was one that was going to come down to a tie, but it only does that if the Denver game goes the way that it needs to. So I don't know what the likelihood of that is, Andy, of Denver playing its best. And I can promise you, if Denver sits its guys, they're going to lose. Like we kind of thought about it last year, and we're like, remember the Chiefs did this a couple years ago, and they actually won their last game. It would be a bloodbath.
Yeah, Chargers would win.
So
it would not be a contest. And look, I think from the Chiefs' perspective, like they'll assume that they'll still have a chance at the end, and they'll assume that they have a chance in this game. I'm sure. Like if anybody can get that locker room back at a spot where that they can be finding their way into the playoffs by winning out and getting the help they need, then it's the people in the room like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, everybody else. I just saw on the sideline, though, and maybe it was played up by Chris Collinsworth a little bit, but like I saw like the competitive spirit almost just like oozing out of Travis Kelce in just a very bad way. Like when he had that like drop that Alshire caught for the interception.
Yeah,
he's just on and he's just done. He's like, what the heck? And I was like, that does it for me. Like the Chiefs' superpowers are starting to kind of wane out a little bit after that moment. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. But look, like for this game in particular, like if they get a few stats in their favor, then obviously they can.
Yeah, so what do they need to do to win this game? We'll start with Mahomes' passing yards. 238.5 is the number. I don't necessarily think that even getting there guarantees you anything. This is probably a really close game. By the way, I love the Chargers plus 5.5. Love them. They're playing really well. Offensively, I think Justin Herbert can be trusted right now. He's got weapons. They've got Omarion Hampton back. The run game is a good 1-2 punch with him and Vidal. Their pass defense is really good. They're like they turned Jalen Hurts over 10 million times. It wasn't just Jalen Hurts doing it to himself. They did it to him as well. So I really wonder if this is a game where Mahomes is going to be equipped to just like, hey, through the passing offense of it all, carry this team. I don't know that I expect that in this one, but 238.5 is the number over or under.
Well, the thing is, he might get the yards, but does he get the red zone chances converted?
Yeah.
Does he protect the football? Does it? I think a whole lot of question marks other than just, is he surpassing the total there that he's got, which I think he will do, by the way. I would say over. But I there are a lot of what ifs on top of that. Like I am more interested in how many times is he getting sacked? How many times is Kansas City getting inside the 25 and actually getting in the end zone, which they've not done a good enough job of, for my estimation. I can see an offense that puts up something like 26 points because they had 2 touchdowns and 4 field goals. That would mean that they did well to move from 20 to 20, but and that would mean that Mahomes is probably getting to his number, but I don't think it means they win the game.
Yeah, I would not predict Mahomes for over that number. Off the top of my head, he was 160 in the Texans game.
Yeah,
I think you're dealing with a pass defense that's just as capable as Houston's. The Chargers are 5th in the league, 173.2 yards per game to opposing passers. Houston's 172.0. It's almost identical in terms of the production surrendered through the air. And I've watched the Chargers look Like, I think the Chargers are sneaky to make a run if they can box the Chiefs out of making the playoffs. I think the Chargers have the quarterback play. I think they have the defense. I think they have the balance offensively, and they have the head coach to be very, very dangerous in the playoffs. And this might be the time where it's like, hey, everybody's bagging on the Chiefs. Everybody's getting their licks in. It's our turn to like drive the stake through their hearts with this one. I don't know if I'll predict a Chiefs loss. I love plus 5.5 for the Chargers. That's a number that's gone up. I'm not sure I understand that. Maybe it's like they played a physical game on a short week against the Eagles, and like that's the sports betting logic is like the short week factor because that was the Monday night game.
Yeah.
But I would say that seeing what Mahomes looked like against Houston's defense, I'm not really projecting him over 238.5. I would go under.
What's Justin Herbert got then? Like
200 even, 205, or excuse me, 200.5.
Wow.
Which is bizarre to me.
Yeah, he'll get above that, won't he?
I have to think so. What are we missing about this game that I'm like, it's going to be a dogfight. Don't really love the Chiefs' chances. Herbert, I couldn't have told you that he only threw for 139 yards against the Eagles, but that is what happened.
Look, limited in practice this week. Obviously, the hand injury, but it's his left hand. It's not his throwing hand. You wonder how much it's he's dealing with.
He's going to play. Surely he's going to play, but that would be the only explanation for why the Chiefs are favored by so many is questions over his status.
Do they want to incorporate more of the run game though? Like they have Hampton back. They want to try and ramp him up some more. And
I feel like they did. And by the way, as much credit as I'm giving Herbert, like the numbers recently aren't great. And there's a 60-yard pass to the backup running back as part of those 139 yards on Monday. So really not super productive through the air, but the Eagles also have a very good defense. So that was just maybe sort of the nature of the beast there. Chiefs gave up 203 to Stroud in the game on Sunday night. I feel like I would lean over on Herbert, but I don't feel as strongly about it as I do the under on Mahomes.
I would say, the slightly lean over for Justin Herbert too. I want to know the rushing total actually for both quarterbacks though, because Herbert ran for a lot against the Eagles.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I would say over would be my preference, and I wish I would have seen that. I was betting Jalen Hurts over for rushing, and he didn't look like he had any interest in running in that game on
Herbert
Monday.
Had 66 rushing yards on Monday night.
He was getting after it. The Chiefs kind of middle of the pack in what they give up to quarterbacks against the run. So that would be an opportunity here, I think, for Herbert to do it again, as long as the hand doesn't keep him from doing it. His number at Unnamed Sportsbook, 24.5, I do think I like quite a bit in a divisional game where it just feels like that's not maybe the thing that they'll vote to take away. Like the Eagles clearly didn't. They took away the receivers. They took away the general like weapons on the outside, Ladd McConkey, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, like they took that away. And so Herbert had to run and throw it to running backs. And that was, the way that it played out for them. And it worked for the Chargers. I don't know that the Chiefs are going to focus on Justin Herbert's legs. So yeah, I like over 24.5 for him. And if you agree with that, and 21.5 is the number for Mahomes.
Jason texting in, I don't know if it will exactly be that at kickoff, but it's a noon game. It's supposed to be cold. High of 24, low of 8.
Oh.
So
ticket prices are super cheap. If you've never been to a Chiefs game and you're in that area and you like really want to go and you've got a good coat, you've got a good coat and good gloves, good mittens, good boots, this will be your chance because the prices are reflective of the weather and the state of the team right now.
Noon game too.
I was told I cannot go. I was like, hey, Emily, the Chiefs are like tickets are really cheap.
So that's why you know so much about the ticket prices.
I saw it on Twitter that they were cheap, and I was like, huh. And so I looked, and I turned to my wife on the couch, and I said, hey, she's only 8 months pregnant, and so I'm like, hey, what do you think about? Is she? I'm a dumb. What you have to remember is I'm a dumb, and so no, she's not going to be trekking across the state back and forth to go to a 8-degree football game. But like, it doesn't ever hurt to like explore the very beginning of a brainstorming process. And We only got to the very beginning before I was.
Were you able to finish your sentence? Like, that's what I want to know.
I was like, hey, Chiefs tickets are really cheap this week. People are kind of down on the team. I didn't know about the weather part when we had this conversation.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at her and I was shot down very quickly, which was correct. I'm not advocating that I should have pushed any further.
Right,
I'm just
right.
sharing
At least
the
you
anecdote
recognize
for fun.
that you,
But if you don't live, so far away as I do, and you're in the Kansas City area and you don't mind the cold, you get to see a meaningful football game for probably cheaper than you otherwise would. So there you go.
Hey, look, like get your hunting gear out, essentially, like your big coat where you're, sitting in the deer stand for however
I know
long.
Chiefs fans
you
have
do
it.
that. Yeah.
You guys absolutely have it. So you'll be fine out there. The long underwear. That's what you'll need.
That's what it is. Jason says wind chill is supposed to be 6 at kickoff.
I would do it if it weren't all the other circumstances going on. Like, I still have not been to an NFL game since the Rams left St. Louis, so I would love to. I would be on board too. Like, I would be recruited as a Chiefs fan then if I was like, enamored by the environment and everything. But it ain't going to be this year. So we'll roll it out to next year. Maybe they'll be a little better. I don't want to go see a bum team.
How much worse can they be?
Can't even be a winning record this year. I mean, goodness.
Golly. We'll see. But 875-KTGR if you want to call or text in over-unders for Chiefs and Chargers. So, I'd say over on Herbert's rushing total. I would say over on Mahomes, too. I don't even know what the number is. But
it's 21.5.
Oh, yeah. Go up.
The Chargers, something told me the Chargers gave up quarterback run decently well, and that's why I bet Hurts in the first place on Monday. But now they look like they're, toward the better half of the league in limiting the quarterback run because Hurts got no rushing yards. So they're kind of middle of the pack as well. I don't know in the first game what Mahomes did the first game of the year. He threw for 258. Yeah, maybe that 238.5. I think the Chargers are playing better defensively right now than even what we saw in that first game. But he went 57 on the ground. I don't really see how 21.5 is the number for Mahomes. Like, he went 6 for 57 against the Chargers in that, was that in Brazil where they play?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. I would say over on both quarterbacks would be my general lean, unless they're so cold that they just don't want to bother with it. I don't know.
875-KTGR if you want to call or text us. We do this probably every week. We could. Over under half a missed kick by Harrison Butker. Come on.
I'll take the over until the beatings will not stop, until Harrison Butker starts kicking better. I would cut him, but they're obviously not going to do that this late in the week.
I mean, well, not this late in the week. They won't do it during the season, but you've got to evaluate it in the offseason.
Oh, he won't be back.
He
won't be back next
contract.
year. I don't think he'll be back next year.
But
I would have done it before it potentially cost me the playoffs this year. That's what my point has been. There's bigger problems than Butker with this Chiefs team, but I think that had they had Harrison Mevis, I think you would maybe have picked up an additional win by now, based on just like the way some of those made kicks allow you to play out the remainder of a football game. You might be in a playoff spot or very close to one if that was a different circumstance. So I think it's a little too late now.
On the books for a $7.3 million cap hit next year. There's a potential out after next year.
I'll never understand that, but I guess when they signed him to it, it was like life was good and what could ever go wrong, Right. And so they were just rewarding their guys. But yeah, he's fallen off. I think once the fall off for a kicker happens, that's like my new take after we saw it with Justin Tucker last year and removed from like his off-field stuff. I was pretty convinced that like when the Hall of Fame caliber kicker falls off, you listen to that. Rarely do they get it back.
It's so interesting, but that'll be a key aspect of what the Chiefs do need to evaluate next year. Do they want to pay a kicker to go away? Or do they just ride with it again? That'd be very interesting. Shane texting in, Worthy over under 50.5 yards and half a touchdown.
I'm going to say under. I would take under on every single receiver if that's where the numbers are. 50.5. He's been a factor more recently, which has been good to see. But I'll run through him. The receiving yardage for Rashee Rice is 65.5. That's a little bit of a softer line, but I would say under. Worthy's nowhere near 50. He's at 33.5. That's more appropriate. I could be compelled to take that potentially on the over.
The over on 33.5. Yeah.
Yeah, but not 50. Definitely under 50. Kelsey's 43.5. I don't know. That one's
43.5
for Kelsey. These numbers are as low as they are because that's the nature of where we're at right now with what we expect of this Chiefs offense. Like, those numbers are very low for Mahomes to be 238.5 as a passing yard. Under on Kelsey. Chargers are sixth best in the league at limiting tight end production in terms of yardage. So I'd fade them all. I'm talking myself into predicting another Chiefs loss, and we can stop talking about them as like maybe they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I do not think they match up well with the way the Chargers are playing defense right now.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. Give us more over-unders for Chiefs and Chargers. Also, give us your fantasy football questions. We'll try to help you out with your playoff matchup this weekend. Next on The Big Show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. It is getting to be holiday time, and that means slick roads a lot of the time. So make sure that your tires are in tip-top shape. If you need new ones, now's a great time to get some at Lee's Tire Company, because right now they're running a special where you can buy 2 tires and get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands. That's right. Buy 2 tires and get 2 free. That'll save you a ton of money if you need new tires, or you just want to switch them out for the winter time. You can do that too with Lee's Tire Company. They have an excellent service team at all 3 of their locations that can get your car serviced for these winter months. And of course, they are the tire pros in mid-Missouri. I've gotten my new tires from Lee's Tire Company. You should do so too, especially now. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free on Mastercraft and other select brands at Lee's Tire Company on the Business Loop in Columbia, or University Garage by the MU campus, or their location in Centralia. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. We know exactly what you're not thinking about right now. Wiper blades. But now that you are, take a moment to think about how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America. Why? Because Rain-X thinks about wiper blades all the time. We obsess, so you don't have to. Simply install our blades and then think about literally anything else. So choose Rain-X, America's #1 wiper blades, and then go back to not thinking about wiper blades. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Bet the game day action right from your phone. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Use Radio MO. Place your first bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Open to new users in Missouri who are 21 or older. First wager after registration must qualify and win. And bonus bets expire 30 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos or the promotions tab on the app for full terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This year, take a bite out of one holiday hassle and have your festive feast expertly prepared by Main Event Catering, the chefs of Courtyard by Marriott Columbia. Ready for pickup? You'll spend less time in the kitchen and more smiles with family. All the favorites: turkey, ham, prime rib, roast beef, even fried chicken, and more. Plus, any of the side dishes and desserts your crew craves. Treat your family with Main Event Catering. Order Holiday Magic today. 443-8000, 443-8000, and jingle all the way.
When it comes to tree care, knowledge matters. And Advanced Tree Solutions doesn't just cut, they care, educate, communicate, and protect the health of your trees. From pruning to removal to planting, their expertise goes beyond the surface. They're known for properly planting trees, removing burlap and wire cages from the root ball to ensure long-term growth and strength. With expert service and yearly discounts, your trees are in good hands. Call Eric at Advanced Tree Solutions, your tree's best friend. AdvancedTreeSolutionsLLC.com.
The best local sports talk around on your ride home. You've got The Big Show on KTGR.
Give us over-unders for Chiefs and Chargers. 875 KTGR here on The Big Show with Andy and Brendan as we get set for this weekend. We're also getting set in 6 days for our Commerce Bank 1-for-1 holiday food drive benefiting the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri. And once we get to holiday time, it's easy to think about the people that are in our lives and we give and it's out of the goodness of our hearts, obviously. But let's think about those who maybe are less fortunate than us as well. And all throughout the day, next Wednesday, December 17th, you can join us along with our other great stations here at Zimmer Communications. Also, Columbia Professional Firefighters, ABC 17 is going to be there. We're going to be at the Columbia Mall, just off Stadium, right by the Wendy's in the parking lot there. You can't miss us. You can come by, drop off your donations. Of course, there are so many ways that you can donate if you can't come out and see us. We're also going to be at Buckeye in Jefferson City. But you can donate with the Missouri Pork Association phone bank that day, or you can text food to 875 KTGR for a donation link. You can donate online thanks to Dunkel Distributing. And again, like $25 means 75 meals for those in need. That's what the food bank can do with your money. And so it's just so important to be able to have that type of support each and every holiday season. And we look forward to it every single year. It's tough that we have to do these things, but man, I'm always so encouraged when we see the generosity and the support that comes out each and every year. Mid-Missouri is an excellent community that helps out their neighbor and does this. And so we hope that we can count on you again to help us out next Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a fun time. Come stop by, say hello, drop off your non-perishable food items. And as well as we talked about earlier this week, your cash donations will go to be able to do some amazing things that the food bank is able to do with that money.
If you want more details now to kind of get a head start on it, see what you can donate, you can go to the KTGR app, download it free, or you can go to ktgr.com and check it out. Hope we can have your support during our Commerce Bank 1-for-1 holiday food drive to benefit the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri. All right, let's help out some folks ourselves in the fantasy football world.
It's time to play Fade or Eliminate.
How many playoff matchups you got, Brendan?
I have, of my 12 leagues, unfortunately, Andy, I only got 3 playoff matchups this week. Just because I have 5 buys, baby.
Oh, come on. He was setting me up. Oh, man.
Made playoffs in 8 out of 12. 5 of them have a bye week. One of them wasn't eligible. We have an 8-team playoff, and so there's no buys for being in first place, which I was. And then 2 of them I just snuck in by the skin of my teeth, including our Dynasty League. So I'm glad to be in that one. But I've got 3. I care about all 3 of them, and so I'm going to try to do the best I can to win them, hopefully.
Okay. If you have questions for Brendan for fantasy football, call or text us 875-KTGR. David texting in PPR Flex, play Fade Eliminate. Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, Tyrone Tracy.
And do not flex Mike Evans. He plays tonight, so move somebody else in there if you play him. Deebo, Tracy, and Evans, huh?
Yeah.
Man. Well, I'm trying to figure out who these people are playing, and Google is really letting me down.
I have them for you.
Okay.
The Evans said that Tampa's taking on the Falcons. Obviously tonight.
Yep.
Deebo Samuel at the Giants. Tyrone Tracy hosting the Commanders.
Okay. And Tyrone Tracy, is he the guy there? I guess we've got an injury or Singletary still plays, but Tracy's the main guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is tricky. I would think that's a favorable matchup for sure against the Commanders. Deebo certainly could spike for you. I think I would trust them both over Evans. And I know Evans is Evans, but is he really going to perform at that level against the Falcons? It's a Thursday night game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, ugly game. So I would probably lean toward the matchup of Tracy, honestly, over anything else. Weather is something you have to think about this week, too. There's a lot of snow projected in a lot of different places. Tracy was mid last week. He hasn't done a lot, but it's a favorable matchup. I think Tracy's actually probably the safest bet of them all. But Deebo and Evans could definitely give you the upside that you're looking for. Debo's going to be with Mariota, though. It's back to Jaden Daniels being out. So he's my eliminate because of the quarterback situation there, potential weather as well. I would go Tracy as the play, Evans is the fade. If Evans is more of a decoy because he's just coming back from injury, that would really be a tough way to start the playoff week. So I think Tracy isn't going to burn you. He should catch a few passes. PPR, I would go Tracy, but I understand if you're like, dude, I'm not sitting Mike Evans.
Jason is saying Evans is on a pitch count. So if that's the case.
Yeah, they said he's going to play the key downs. That could go really well. He scores 2 touchdowns. Or that could go, you leaned into somebody with a limited opportunity and you knew he wasn't going to be out there for every play.
David also had this question on quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy.
Giants play... Not
Giants.
I was thinking San Francisco.
49ers, Titans.
Yeah, it's Purdy. It's Purdy over Mahomes, I think. I get it, but I am afraid of the Chargers defense. Unless you think Mahomes is going to run so much and run in a touchdown, which he did in week 1 against the Chargers, I think Purdy is in a better situation this week.
Man, how far we've come.
Would I actually do that, though, if that were my situation? No, I'd play Mahomes at home. I'd go down swinging with Mahomes, but I think Purdy outscores him.
Interesting. Do we want to get to some of the Facebook, or not Facebook, the YouTube comments that we got earlier?
Oh, we can. I responded on YouTube.
I want to show this one here from.
That's more of a good, like, if your quarterback right now is Brissett because he's been doing great, faces Andy's Texans, you got to abort that mission.
Yes.
Bryce Young, Stroud, Lawrence, and Caleb Williams on waivers. I told that individual to go with Stroud, actually. In the same matchup, I think the Texans can pass on the Cardinals a little bit. The Cardinals' defense is not great, and so that could inspire a higher-scoring game. Also, the Texans are just favored by a bunch, so unless you think they run in all their touchdowns, which maybe they do, banged-up backfield as well. So, I think Stroud's going to be leaned upon. I like Stroud in that spot.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I think it will be a good matchup for him over maybe some of the other guys. Jason's question, also quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow.
Do you hear the Burrow comments about, implying he might be considering hanging him up sooner than people expect?
Joe Burrow?
Yeah, he was like, if I'm going to keep doing this, I need to have fun doing it. And I wouldn't
doubt it. He's been banged up.
Miserable.
Yeah.
And the injuries, and he's made his money. Probably have to give some of it back on that contract he's on. But, yeah, that's a crazy one. Cincinnati faces the Ravens this weekend. That could be kind of a fun game. I think the total is pretty lofty, 51.5. What was the other option if it's not Burrow?
Baker.
Jason?
Baker Mayfield tonight.
Yeah, at home, Bengals are an underdog, but in a game with a 51.5 point total, I would rather play Burrow because in their underdogs, but they could be losing by 10 and Burrow has to throw all second half. I would rather play Burrow because of the math on 51.5 point total versus 43.5. Granted, they probably have about the same team implied total because the Bucs are 5.5 point favorites and the Bengals are my plus 2.5. But I don't know, man. It's kind of the same thing with the Evans. The one thing I'll say is the Falcons do give up passing touchdowns more so than rushing touchdowns. But I think I wouldn't be able to sit Burrow in a matchup at home where the point total is as high as it is. So that's my slight lean, but I think either way, they're both reasonable choices.
Okay, last one. I'm going to throw a running back one your way. I don't know if we talked enough about running backs in this. Play, fade, eliminate. Kenneth Gainwell, Ramondre Stevenson, Bam Knight.
So Bam Knight, Cardinals. I wouldn't want to touch anybody facing the Texans, so he's my eliminate. Ramondre and who was the other one?
Kenneth Gainwell.
Gainwell still backing up Jaylen Warren. Steelers play Monday night against the Dolphins. The one reason I would be inclined to look Gainwell is if I find that the Dolphins give up a ton of passing to running backs, which they kind of do. But it's not enough to overcome what I think is a matchup where, for whatever reason, Vrabel doesn't go full send on Travion Henderson. And the Bills actually give up a ton on the ground. So I kind of would say play Ramondre as my choice there.
Interesting.
And would fade Gainwell as the RB2. Jaylen Warren is healthy as far as I know. So, yeah, I would play Ramondre. It's kind of gross. Hopefully that's not your situation if you're a playoff team, but
Yeah.
it could be. Injuries happen.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, maybe that's your situation, but we tried to help you out as much as we could during Play Fade Eliminate here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. We will also have John Price of Sports Information Traders coming in next to help us out in the betting angles. Maybe this is your first time sports betting. Maybe you haven't quite gotten into it yet. John Price will help you out as he joins us next here on the Big Show, KTGR.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Ben Hermes, and this live local sports center is brought to you by Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com. Mizzou men's basketball is back in action tonight as they prepare to host Alabama State. The Tigers are currently 8-2, but have dropped their last two games against Notre Dame and Kansas, respectively. Alabama State holds a record of 3-6 and have dropped their last three games. Tip-off from Mizzou Arena is at 7 o'clock right here on KTGR. The Missouri Tigers' full 2026 football schedule will be released this evening as a part of the SEC football schedule reveal going on at 7 o'clock. As a reminder, for Mizzou's opponents for next season that was released by the conference back in September, the Tigers will host Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Florida, Kentucky, and Texas, while they will go on the road to take on Arkansas, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State. Mizzou women's basketball fell last night to Illinois, 70-62 in the bragging rights game from Mizzou Arena. Grace Slaughter led the way for the Tigers as she posted a 19-point, 10-rebound double-double. The Tigers will be back in action this Sunday. They travel east on I-70 to take on the St. Louis Billikens with tip-off at 2 p.m. right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with Steve's Pest Control. Merry Christmas from Steve, Anita, Megan, Jared, and the entire team at Steve's Pest Control. Wishing you and your family a safe and happy holiday season.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking temperatures dropping down into the upper 20s this evening under mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies, and it's chillier with winds out of the northwest. We'll see highs in the upper 30s. Heading into Saturday, I'm tracking even colder temperatures with high temperatures making it into the upper 20s. We'll see a chance of snow north of Highway 36. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
High school hoops
Switches on the crossover, Euro step inside, high off the glass and in.
at its best.
Catch it on the left wing, turns around and knocks down the three.
KTGR is your home for the best high school basketball matchups in Columbia. Follow the QBs, Bruins, Spartans, and Trailblazers all season long on KTGR's High School Hoops Game of the Week. See the full list of game broadcasts on KTGR.com and listen on the go with a free KTGR app. High school basketball lives here on your total sports station, KTGR.
Well, the holidays are going to be here before you know it, and so will the family visits, the gatherings, and all the stress that comes with them. If your to-do list around the house still hasn't been touched, call Bax Homeworks. Their handyman service can take care of those little fixes, updates, and projects you've been putting off. Don't worry, you're not the only one. But that way, you can focus on what really matters. Relieve the stress now. Visit BaxHomeworks.com or find them on Facebook. Bax Homeworks. Getting your to-do list done.
From lean dinners to holiday winners, Pork has you covered. Need a quick weeknight meal? Pork chops. Planning the ultimate feast? How about a show-stopping ham or pork loin? And there's nothing easier than ground pork for cozy comfort foods like soups and meatballs. Make this holiday season your most flavorful yet. Visit tastewhatporkcando.com. This message brought to you by Missouri Pig Farmers and the Pork Checkoff.
If you're fed up with promised promotions that never come through, or you simply feel overworked and underpaid, maybe it's time for a change. Make sure your job search starts at MidmoHires.com. There, you can browse lots of local companies hiring for their next superstar employee. Plus, these are local jobs, so you don't have to up and move your whole family just to find a job that you enjoy. If you're looking to move up the ladder, start looking at the job openings posted at MidmoHires.com. Great local companies hiring great local people. MidmoHires.com.
Welcome to Macadoodles. Macadoodles does game day like nobody else. Whether you're tailgating or hosting a watch party, Macadoodles has you covered. With more than 3,200 wine labels, 1,500 spirits, and 600 craft and imported beers, and delivery right to your tailgate or doorstep, the days of making a beer run are over. Macadoodles delivers, providing unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Drive through today or come inside and experience our world-class customer service. Who does game day like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
It's hard to believe basketball season is already here. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill reminds you that whether you need a place to grab a bite after a local high school or college game, or you just want to plop down with some friends and watch some hoops on TV, they've got a spot for you. 1851 Underground has drink specials and discount happytizers for happy hour. Check them out on Facebook or at 1851underground.com. It's not a secret, but it is underground. 1851 Underground Tap and Grill in the historic Brick District, downtown Fulton.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
We're back here on The Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app. Andy and Brendan here. And as you might know, sports wagering legal here in Missouri now. And it's the perfect time to bring on our next guest. It's John Price, one of the premier handicappers in the sports wagering business. His company, Sports Information Traders, has become the gold standard in an industry that goes through so many changes, but they've been around for 22 years. You might ask, well, why is that? Well, because winning creates longevity. And this fall, John has been giving out his advice all over America. And today he joins us to give you the perfect way to try his services. John, how are you today?
Great to be with you. Great to be on in Columbia. You know, it is such a great time to dive into sports wagering if you're living in Missouri and you haven't been able to do it up to now. You've got college bowl games that are coming up in large amounts beginning next week. You've got the NFL regular season winding down, angling into the playoffs. This really is the biggest money-making time in sports wagering when it comes to football. Now, just to reset a bit, my name is John Price. My company is Sports Information Traders. As he said, that we've been around for 22 years. We do not place bets for people. We give information on the plays. So we tell you what plays to play, and it's up to you on how much you want to wager on those games, unless, of course, you're working with one of our analysts. We help you build your bankroll up to 3 to 5 times your investment. But let's keep things super simple this week. I want everyone listening to me right now to think about using the play that I have this Sunday as your first ever bet in Missouri. Now, some of you may have already started betting, which is great. Been going on for a long time. But I have a 10-unit play, one 10-unit NFL play. 10 units means it's the top of the line. It's the maximum play. Our entire company will be on it. It's one 10U play, and it's only $29. Now, right now, you could be a person who's been betting for years. You bet $500, $1,000, $50, whatever. The price is the same to everyone. If you're listening to me, it's only $29, and you can get it on our website, sportsinformationtraders.com. Again, sportsinformationtraders.com, or you can give us a call, 866-356-1232. It's only $29. You qualify to purchase it directly on our website, sportsinformationtraders.com.
Yeah, that's John Price, and he's calling it JP's Guarantee. Again, one 10-unit NFL play for just $29. You can go check it out and buy it at sportsinformationtraders.com, or you can call 866-356-1232. And again, you might be a big player or a small player. Price is the same for you, $29. Again, sportsinformationtraders.com to go and get it. All right, John, so Chiefs are at home, and it's a must-win game for them against the Chargers. What do you like in this one?
Well, the line right now is -5 for Kansas City. It opened at -4.5. So when you see the line move a half a point, that means the public money has been on the Chiefs. They're 6-7 coming off the loss to Houston. And, listen, you look at their next 4 games. They've got LA and Denver at home, the weaker opponents, Raiders and Titans on the road. I think they have a very good shot to win all 4 games and hope for some help. They need to cut on the turnovers, plain and simple. That's what's done in. And they're playing against the Chargers team that's capitalized on turnovers. They're 9-4 coming off the Eagles. In the last 4 weeks, LA has caused 10 turnovers. That's been instrumental in them winning those football games. Under center, Justin Herbert, he's playing with one hand right now. He still has the cast. He got through Philadelphia, but Kansas City needs to pressure him early and often and try to take away a little bit of his presence in the pocket. Prediction-wise, the numbers this year on totals have been incredible where the Kansas City Chiefs are concerned. If you're new to wagering, a total is the number that Vegas gives total points combined by both teams by the time the football game ends. This week's total is 41.5 points between the two teams. The under, which is what we call it when it comes in under the total, is 9-4 in Kansas City's 13 games. That is more than a trend, folks. That's reality. So here I'm taking the under 41.5 points in the Chiefs-Chargers football game. This is not the big play I'm talking about. I always give on-air plays so that people have a chance to watch them, play a little something on them. If you want to maximize your opportunity, learn what my company is all about with one single play. This Sunday is the play. It's JP's Guarantee. It's one play for $29. You can buy it at our website, sportsinformationtraders.com. Right now, you could be in the car trying to remember what's his name? Remember the website, sportsinformationtraders.com. It's only Thursday night. This game's happening on Sunday, so you have time. Call us at 866-356-1232. There's no obligations behind it. You just need to have a place to wager. You win whatever you make. Go to sportsinformationtraders.com.
John Price with sportsinformationtraders.com here on the Big Show, KTGR, and the KTGR app. Again, it's one 10-unit NFL play for just $29. That's JP's Guarantee. Go and find it right now at sportsinformationtraders.com. Number to call also is 866-356-1232 for more info. And maybe you're just getting into the sports betting stuff with it being legal in Missouri this past week and a half. This is the perfect way to get into it if you haven't already. $29. Again, go to sportsinformationtraders.com for JP's Guarantee. All right, John, staying in the NFL real quickly here. Colts, Seahawks. Of course, Chiefs fans want an Indy loss. Is there a play that you like here?
They stand a pretty good chance. The Seahawks right now are -14 over the Colts. The line opened at Seattle -13.5, so Vegas couldn't win there. The public is still betting on Seattle. They're 10-3, 7-1 in their last 8 games. They've got the 9th best offense in the league, the 6th best defense, a very balanced quarterback with Sam Darnold, and they're playing really well at home. That's where the game is. Colts 8-5, coming off a loss to the Jaguars. They just signed Phillip Rivers. Their quarterback situation is up in the air with Riley Leonard. This week, their only shot is for Jonathan Taylor to have his best game and their defense to have its best game. Prediction, we're going back to the totals, but this one's a little bit different. Seattle has a pretty glowing trend the past few weeks. The first half totals of all of their games have been very, very low. Over the past 3 weeks, the total average in the first half for Seattle's last 3 games is finishing under 15 points going into halftime. This week's first half total is set at 21. I think there's great value there. So I'm taking the under 21 points in the first half of the Seahawks-Colts game. If you're new to wagering and you're looking at the apps that you're on, look for first half plays. Seattle, Indianapolis, take the under 21 points in the first half. Those plays, the Chiefs play and that play, those are plays to watch, enjoy, maybe put a little bit of money on. I want you to maximize the opportunity here, folks. I don't care if you've been betting for 10 years or 10 minutes. This is your opportunity. If you've heard about my company, Sports Information Traders, and many of you had because we've been on the radio for years, then you know we're here because we win, period. Typically, we work alongside you and manage you to make sure that your bankroll is in good shape. But for this one play, we want to give it to you for only $29. Gives you an opportunity to capitalize on the very same play that I am and the rest of our company is. whatever you do this weekend, whatever games you're on, congratulations. The one I want you to focus on most is my 10-unit JP's Guarantee. You can buy it right now directly on our site. Remember it, sportsinformationtraders.com. It is $29 for everyone. There's no qualifying here. $29, sportsinformationtraders.com, or give us a call at 866-356-1232.
Again, that's JP's Guarantee, 10-unit NFL play for just $29 over at sportsinformationtraders.com. And again, whether you're a big player or a small player, price is the same for you, $29. Perfect way to just get in with one play, right as sports wagering is legal here in Missouri for the first week and a half that we've had it. So again, sportsinformationtraders.com. Great to have John Price to give his betting advice with us here on The Big Show. Thanks for coming on, John. Enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. Next week, the bowl program starts. A lot of games, a lot of activity. This is a perfect appetizer for you. Go to sportsinformationtraders.com.
All right. Again, John Price there, sportsinformationtraders.com. It's The Big Show on KTGR and the KTGR app. And that just about does it for us. Of course, we'll have even more betting info with Rob Vino tomorrow, so don't miss that. And we'll have our own picks of the week at 5:45 tomorrow. So be sure to join us from 4 to 6. Tonight, Mizzou men's basketball, they take on Alabama State, and the Tigers trying to get to 9-2 overall. Tip-off at 7 p.m. Coverage from the Tiger Radio Network begins at 6:30. And again, we'll see you tomorrow at 4. He's Brendan. He's producer Ben. I'm Andy. We're done for now.